Hey everyone, welcome back to Body Haven Soaps. My name is Darlene. I am the owner and creator of Body Haven Soaps. I began this channel to help other creators create. So on this channel I go over my business, recipes, I share recipes with you. I'm going to go over how to create your own recipes, formulating, all of those kinds of things in the hopes to help other people. Alright, so if that's something that interests you, you can hit that subscribe button below and help support my channel. In the meantime, today's video we are going to go over doing the orange stone bar. I've had a few requests, so Pat, this is for you, that I provide the recipe for this orange stone bar. Now I have made some adjustments since I made that video way back when. However, I will share with you the full recipe of how I make these orange stone bars. Okay, so let's just get into it. Okay guys, we are making cold processed soap, so we do need to have long sleeve shirts. I always wear an apron, good gloves on, and your eye protection, so make sure you're following all of your safety precautions. Okay, and we will get started. Alright, so in this recipe, you guys, this recipe is designed for people, gardeners, mechanics, those types of things. So you guys have probably seen or you know of that, is it called Gojo? I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's the orange cleaning solution that mechanics use. So this bar was designed with that concept. However, I'm using natural instead of synthetic. And I want this bar to be conditioning, yet I want it to pull out the grease or dirt or whatever it is that you have on those grimy hands. Okay, so this is one of those bars that is to help get all of that ground in dirt or ground in grease out of the hands. Okay, so that's the purpose of this bar. Okay, so in here I have my melted down oils. Now I've already weighed them out and I've already melted them down. Okay, so in here, this is a pretty basic, straightforward recipe. Okay, so we have olive oil, we have castor oil, we have coconut oil, and we have palm oil. Okay, so in here we have 30% of the coconut, olive oil, and palm oil. So in this recipe, the size batch that I'm making today, we're going to have 272.16 grams, okay, or 9.6 ounces of the coconut oil, okay, 9.6 ounces of the palm oil, 9.6 ounces of the olive oil, and then the castor oil, I do that at 10%. Okay, if you get too much castor oil in a recipe, you guys, as amazing as castor oil is to bring to a bar of soap, it will speed up the saponification process a lot. So you don't want to go too crazy with castor oil. Okay, so 10%. So we are doing 3.2 ounces or 90.72 grams of the castor oil. Okay, so that is the oils I have put in here. It is pretty straightforward, basic recipe. We're going to add to this bar by adding things into it. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to add into this is going to be goat's milk. Okay, milk has saturated and unsaturated fats. Okay, it really does bring a lot to a soap bar, so it will make there's a lot more lather, and that helps to pull that grease away, the more foamy and lathery that it gets. And it actually has a lot of healing properties to it and can soften the skin as well. So we are putting goat's milk in here. We are also going to put in lanolin. Now lanolin is from sheep wool, so it isn't vegan, okay, but it really does create that barrier and soften the skin. It's like a natural Vaseline, so you're using it instead of a petroleum product. We're using that lanolin, so it's natural, and I use lanolin in all my foot products, all my hand bars, those types of things. Okay, so I do have lanolin that's going to be added in here, and another thing that we're going to add in is going to be our bentonite clay. So I love clays. You guys have probably recognized that throughout. So that's a new addition into this, as well as the bentonite clay. The bentonite clay does help to bring out toxins and stuff, and our hands are pretty absorbent, so that's why I've chosen to add this in here. I have made this twice now with the bentonite clay, and my customers love it, so that is going to be a permanent addition. People actually notice the difference between the bar I used to make and the bar they purchase now, and ask me what did I do different, and it's just the bentonite clay and the goat's milk are my two new additions into this. Okay, so we have our measurements of our oils. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, and I'm just going to move the camera so you guys can see. All right, so we have our oils. They're all melted down, as you can see here. Okay, and I gave you the measurements to the oils for this size batch and the percentages. Okay, now whenever you guys go to use another person's soap recipe, to always err on the side of caution, I would always suggest that you put this through soap calc. Soap calc is something you should be really familiar with, and you should always put your recipes through. Okay, I've done that with this one. However, you guys, even though I've told you I've put it through soap calc, I would always double check, because you do not want a high lye soap. Okay. All right, so now we have our oils here. Now in here, this little container, I have my goat's milk mixed with aloe vera, okay, juice. So in here, you guys, we are going to have, so in this little metal container that I have here, okay, we have in here, we have 43 grams of aloe vera juice. I'm just going to get this off of the spoon. And then I have in here 17 grams of goat's milk powder. Okay, to start the process of breaking this down, I have stirred this in and I've let it set. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add this directly to our oils and blend this in. All right, I want to get it diluted in my oils before the milk touches the lye solution. So that's why I do it this way. All right, so I am just going to pour my goat's milk in here. Now, if you have fresh goat's milk, you can absolutely do your calculations on your lye calculator and just add goat's milk. I do not have access to it, so I use powdered goat's milk. Okay, just make sure you're doing your calculations for your water content. You don't want to get too much water, because that's how you get those glycerin rivers. Okay, so I have in here my goat's milk and aloe vera juice. I'm also going to add in my bentonite clay and mix this all into the oils beforehand. Okay, so my bentonite clay, I have 20 grams. Okay, so we're going to put this right in, and we're going to blend this all together with our oils. And you guys don't have to add goat's milk. You do not have to add the bentonite clay. Those are additions that I've put in here. You can make this recipe without it and it would work just fine. Okay, I'm just going to blend all this together. Okay, I've made sure that I have this blended really well so that there isn't chunks of the goat's milk and there isn't chunks of the clay in there. Okay, everything has been blended well. Alright, so now we will get to adding in our lye solution. So in the lye solution, you guys, I actually did not use water. In this container, I have the aloe vera juice that I've used in place of water, and I have my lye. Alright, and it's all been dissolved and cooled down. I did do a water discount or an aloe vera juice discount in this simply because I did put the aloe vera juice with the goat's milk, so I don't want extra liquid in here causing those glycerin rivers. Okay, so in this I have 9.6 ounces or 272.16 grams of aloe vera juice. Okay, I also have in here my lye, which is 4.59 ounces or 130.15 grams, okay, of lye. I did this last night. I allowed it to dissolve and cool overnight, so this is completely cool. Okay, and we will just pour that in with this. Now I always pour against my thing so it doesn't splash up. Make sure you're wearing your eye protection, guys. All right. So the lye is in there. And now we will just bring this to trace. Okay, so now to this, you guys, I want to add my lanolin. So for the lanolin, I have 10 grams. This does come in solid form, so you will need to melt this down. But we are going to put in our 10 grams of lanolin. And this really does make the bar, you guys. And we'll get this mixed in. Okay, so now that we have that mixed in, you guys, we are going to add in our fragrance, okay, and then these I mix separate, okay. So the fragrance that I'm using is essential oil blend of orange, grapefruit, and lemon, okay. And I am adding in 43 grams, okay, or 1.5 ounces of the essential oil blend of those three: lemon, grapefruit, and orange. And we are going to put this in and mix that well. Okay, so now that we have that mixed in there, I use the citrus blend because it helps cut grease and debris naturally instead of a degreaser in these, okay? And then we're going to divide this between our two containers here, okay? Okay, so now that we have it divided between the two containers, we're going to get our colors mixed in here. Now I'm using Pumpkinhead from Mad Mica for my orange, and I am using Steelworks from Mad Micas for my gray colorant. And I want this fairly orange, so I am going to put in 2 full scoops. And we'll see how that goes. And then the gray, put 1.5. Now I really should do the orange first because it's the lighter color. Oops. And we will get this blended in. Okay, so each one of these is going to get walnut shells. Now I use walnut shells because it's finer and I find it gets into the little tiny parts and it's a better cleaner. Not as good as the pumice, but adding this in so you have a combination of both exfoliants I find works better. So I do have in here 10 grams that's going to go in here. Okay, and I have 10 grams that's going to go in the other one. And I just measure them separate because I mix this in after. It starts to speed up the process. And then I have my fine pumice stone, and I always use fine. And I have 20 grams for in here, and I have 20 grams for in here. Okay, and we will get our spatula, scrape this all down. Now you can see this was the traces speeding up on this more than my last video when I made this. It's the bentonite clay and the milk that's speeding it up, so you have to work fairly quickly. And I'm just going to make sure that I have everything combined easy with this. Okay, and that looks good. So let's get our molds and get this into our molds. Okay, so we have these molds that I use, okay, and we are just going to double pour. I'm just going to give these a stir to get them moving again. Sometimes if you stir it and unsettle it, it'll pour a little nicer. Just a tip for you guys. Okay, and we just double pour like so. Okay, so another thing that I like to do now that I have these all full, okay, and I've smoothed that out, tap them down, I'm just going to make sample ones, because a good way to get somebody to try your product is to give out a sample of the product you're trying to sell. Once they try it, as long as you're confident in your product, giving away a small sample so that they can try it and they're like, holy, that really works, and then they start purchasing from you. So that's one thing that I've learned through running this business, is samples is always a good idea. Okay, so I will just take what I have left in here. Okay guys, so it is the next day. These are nice and firm and ready to come out of the mold. You'll see there's a little bit of rough background, and I'll just clean that up after they're dried. But you just simply pop them out. And there's our orange stone handbars for my Buff Bar collection. And as simple as that, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and give the recipe a try. You can alter it. You don't have to put the clay in or any of those things. It's up to you. Just use the basic soap recipe and do what you like with it. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.